Paulumi Saha is presently in Guwahati, right outside the hotel, where the rebel MLAs, the Shinde Sena group, is currently holed up. Paulumi, how are you looking at this Shinde resolution letter that has come? You know, it's very strongly worded. It is by 34 MLAs. It says we are done with the Congress and NCP's harassment. But, you know, it doesn't directly name Uddhav Thackeray, but does as much mention that the leadership has failed and compromised.
Well, this is what has been stated by Eknath Shinde and company for, of course, the past couple of days, that they are quite unhappy with the way the Maha Vikas Aghadi is functioning, with the way that the Shiv Sena seems to be a pushover in this alliance, and it is the NCP that is calling the shots, and they, of course, do not believe that given the stated ideology of the Shiv Sena and Bal Thackre's ideology and his path into formation of the Shiv Sena, the Hindutva ideology, NCP and Congress are natural allies. It is the BJP which is a natural ally, and hence they would want the Shiv Sena to go back into the NDA fold. So these are, of course, statements which have been made in the past. But what is interesting is what, like I was discussing with you just a short while ago, Pooja, it is about putting those signatures down on paper. You can keep banding about numbers, you can keep claiming numbers, but where are those numbers? Do you have enough of those numbers? And you have to prove it on paper. So here, of course, the Shiv Sena putting down 34 names and saying that these are the individuals who are with Eknath Shinde. And that is a huge chunk. I mean, it possibly isn't all the way up to the 37 mark that he needs in order to successfully defect away and form a breakaway faction of the Shiv Sena, the real Shiv Sena, quote unquote. But it is a sizable chunk. If Shiv Sena stands at 55 and 34 are with Eknath Shinde, as we speak right now, we do know where the majority strength of the party lies and where it is right now, and that's right behind me, inside this Radisson Blu Hotel in Guwahati. So clearly, this is muscle flexing by the Eknath Shinde camp. First, of course, saying we do not accept your whip, we do not accept your diktat, we believe that that is completely invalid, and here is our whip because we have the numbers. Our whip is the one that stands, and our whip is Bharat Gogable. And then, of course, now putting out that piece of paper and saying this is what we want and this is what we believe, and look at the numbers that we have, and clearly the numbers are in our favor.
Paulumi, stay on with me. Also, Vidya is with us. I want the viewers to look at that image closely. That is the signature of the MLAs of the Shinde resolution, the Shinde Sena, as we can call it right now. Vidya is in Mumbai. Paulumi is in Guwahati. Vidya, first to you here. Because at this point, Uddhav Thackeray will be hopeful that as and when they decide to have a meeting of the MLAs, it is also a show of strength, isn't it? Because, of course, the cameras are rolling. Everyone will be tracking how many MLAs arrive to meet Uddhav Thackeray, who himself will likely be virtually because he is COVID positive. So do you think in many ways today's evening's meeting is very crucial? Because Shinde is not revealing his MLAs directly today, but Uddhav Thackeray may just have to.
Well, actually, if I can correct you, Pooja, Uddhav Thackeray has tested negative. His earlier report was positive, but his RT-PCR report compared to the antigen was different. It was negative, and that's the reason why the meetings are being held at Varsha, where a lot of Shiv Sena leaders are right there waiting to meet him, and certainly the meetings will probably progress to something that would really lead to a positive output is what they are also expecting. But at this juncture, yes, it's not just the Shiv Sena which is holding meetings. There are various rounds of meetings that have been held by the Congress yesterday, today, as well as the NCP, and right now even the BJP. Narayan Rane, where I'm actually at the BJP office, and Narayan Rane was expected to be here. However, Devendra Fadnavis called him over to his residence, and many rounds of meeting are actually happening there as well. So just about every party is in the huddle, looking at the entire, turmoil that is happening in Maharashtra, and wondering what exactly will be the right thing to do so that they can be either, for the Shiv Sena to keep the government or for the BJP to form a government. But certainly at this juncture, with the governor also testing positive, being in the hospital,
yes,
there are a lot of ifs and buts. but certainly things will probably clear out in the next couple of hours or so after that whip that has been issued by Shiv Sena and the meeting that is held there.
Vidya is tracking all the latest in Mumbai. So Uddhav Thackeray, who's tested negative, will be there in the meeting. He's chairing that meeting. Paulomi Saha in Guwahati. Paulomi, because you've also closely covered the Maharashtra politics, the question that everyone's been asking is, how can Shinde possibly have over 35-40 MLAs on his side, and Uddhav Thackeray or anyone senior did not even get a whiff about it? So of course there are all sorts of conspiracy theories, if it is a fixed match also, what is happening? What do you think possibly happened here? Was Uddhav Thackeray caught off guard? Was he aware but underestimated Eknath Shinde?
Well, he, Pooja, in order to answer your question, it appears that Uddhav Thackeray did not exactly pick up on the signs.
Yes.
While Eknath Shinde was expressing his rebellion for a while right now. In fact, from the start of this coalition of government, the formation of this Mahavikas Aghadi, Eknath Shinde was one of those who was not very happy with this coalition of the Shiv Sena breaking ties with the BJP and joining hands with the Congress and the NCP. And he made it known and he made it quite apparent as well. Now, he's a strongman of the party. We've been showing our viewers pictures of Eknath Shinde standing right next to Uddhav Thackeray and, others at various functions and, on various dioceses as well. So he's a strongman of the party. He, in fact, wields a lot of influence in areas like Kalyan, like Thane, like Dombivli, like Palghar. So he is extremely influential. In fact, today when Sanjay Rao this morning was speaking about Eknath Shinde, he categorically stated that those are municipality elections which will be fought under the influence and the leadership of Eknath Shinde. There's absolutely no two ways about it. So when such a, a prominent leader of the party is expressing these views, why weren't those signs being picked up upon? He, of course, eventually went on to he wanted to, of course, he harbored chief ministerial ambitions when, of course, he was appointed leader of the legislature party. But then, of course, Uddhav Thackeray took on the mantle himself. The deputy chief minister's post then, of course, went to the NCP. After that, he was given the urban development ministry. In the urban development ministry, his anguish was that there was a lot of interference from others who were part of the Shiv Sena, specifically Aditya Thackeray. So he was not very happy with, the way things were functioning, and it appears now that Uddhav Thackeray did not pick up on the signs within the party that, there was a growing sense of angst, a growing sense of resentment and anguish. And this is not the first time the Shiv Senics have come out and expressed their anguish over this alliance and the fact that this is not a workable alliance for the future, for the long term. Also, Pooja, just to make a little update, because
yes,
we were in fact talking about that list of 34 earlier. Now I'm looking at that list very carefully, and obviously it's the handwriting is because it's signatures and handwriting is not very legible on most of it, but it's a list of 34 of all. So it's not just Shiv Sainik, just the final name, if Ajay could point out over here. This is 34, constituency Shirol. And the name is Rajendra Patil. This is Rajendra Patil Yedgaonkar. He's basically, in fact, right now, I'm going to try and, again, if he can see, Ajay, if you can now, number 34, Shirol, Rajendra Patil, and its signature. Rajendra Patil is an MOS in the Uddhav cabinet. He's currently inside over here, inside Radisson Blue. He's an independent MLA. So this is not a list of 34 of only Shiv Sainik. So he's still falling short in terms of reaching that number. So 34 Shiv Sainiks, no. It's 34 of all. The total is 34 that is signed over here. So we still have to get a final number of Shiv Sainiks that Eknath Shinde has with him. And like we've been discussing, 37 is the mark that he needs to reach.